Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening in this very beautiful temple, which has been recently renovated. At least it seems recently to me. I remember when the deities were on the other side, so I'm very fortunate to have this sacred space. Now we will try to worship the Shastra. We will turn our attention to absorption in Krishna's message. So I'll start with the two invocation verses. If you know them, you can join in. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Tena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Panchakalvatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuryaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So, today, here we are on Sunday. It's a special Sunday. Does anyone know what this Sunday is known as? Easter. What's Easter? Yes, it's good to be aware and be conscious of what's going on out there in the world today. Easter, we honor the, what's called, in the Christian world it's called the resurrection, but it's a celebration of Jesus, or we'll say Lord Jesus Christ. So today I wanted to explore something I think is very important and very pertinent in our current world. I think we are all aware of what's going on to differing degrees in the world today. Situations and political situations. It's quite concerning, yes. It's quite scary. And I think we as devotees have actually a lot to contribute, and we have an important role in the world today to actually help this situation. So I thought we would explore some of that, particularly how our scriptures, the Srimad Bhagavatam is considered kind of like the life of the Gaudiyas. We worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and we especially worship his form of Lord Chaitanya. And we follow in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. That's why we're known as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So Lord Chaitanya's message is the Sankirtan movement to spread the glories of the holy name as the Yuga Dharma, as the means of reestablishing religion in the current age. So to me, it seems that we have reached, I would say, critical point in our world's history. We have developed to such a degree with technology and various forms of technology, some positive, some negative. And it seems we have technologically advanced faster than our moral advancement, unfortunately. It seems we are still kind of stuck in a lower consciousness while the material knowledge is accelerated. The spiritual knowledge has not quite matured, it seems, as fast as the technological knowledge. And so this puts humanity at great risk. This puts us all in very great danger. Therefore, we have a very incumbent need to evolve spiritually also. I feel that humanity, if we do not spiritually evolve, either we evolve or we face a risk. We face the risk of actual extinction. It's a very serious thing. Because we have concepts, but I feel that we are lacking scientific concepts. And the scriptures of Srimad Bhagavatam, of the Vedas, they give an actual spiritual science. A spiritual science which is so much needed in our world today. This is what we call Bhagavad Dharma. Bhagavad Dharma is transcendental religion, pure spirituality, completely unmixed with the modes of nature. Because a lot of these conflicts that we see going on, they often have philosophical components. They're driven by philosophical notions and ideas. And that is very often connected with religious views. So we've reached this very critical point in humanity's development. And where can we find the solution? Yes. So here in our temples, as you all know, we widely have the Srimad Bhagavatam available. And it's mentioned in this age of Kali, all the religious principles, they take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. We're mentioning that it seems that our technological advancement has advanced further than our moral advancement. And this creates a very dangerous situation for humanity, at which we've reached a critical mass. Either we have to evolve, or we face risk of ultimate extinction. So the Srimad Bhagavatam plays an extremely important role in our world today. An extremely important role in world culture that we may not yet realize, and the world may not yet realize. But this is what did Srila Prabhupada come to the West to start his mission with? Not much, but the Srimad Bhagavatam. He actually physically brought Srimad Bhagavatam to show how much importance is there in this scripture. So we'll explore some verses from Srimad Bhagavatam and some topics in that regard to remind ourselves of what Bhagavad Dharma is and the need that we are met with today. So I understand there's a technological DJ here. We have some screens. Yeah, can we pull up some verses? We'll go to Canto 6, Chapter 16, Text 41. King Chitraketu offers prayers to the Supreme Lord. And he mentions Bhagavad Dharma. We'll just go to the translation. Yeah, look at this. He prays, being full of contradictions, all forms of religion but Bhagavad Dharma work under conceptions of fruitive results and distinctions of you and I, yours and mine. The followers of Srimad Bhagavatam have no such consciousness. They're all Krishna conscious, thinking that they are Krishna's and Krishna is theirs. There are other low-class religious systems which are contemplated for the killing of enemies or the gain of mystic power, but such religious systems, being full of passion and envy, are impure and temporary. Because they are full of envy, they are full of irreligion. So this is incredible. One of the very inspiring points about Krishna consciousness that Prabhupada presents a spiritual science. We must have heard that phrase before. The spiritual science, not a spiritual dogma, a spiritual belief, but an actual science. Something is reliable, provable, testable, and complete, perfect, pure. So Bhagavatam is described as this pure religion. I think we'll look in the purport a little bit. You can scroll down to the next paragraph. Yeah, let's read this. Should I read or should we have other readers? If one is actually Krishna conscious, he cannot have enemies. This is interesting. Some religions, if you're actually religious, that means you have enemies, right? It's crazy. Enemies in the name of God. This is being disproved here. Now that means you're not Krishna conscious. If one is actually Krishna conscious, he cannot have any enemies. So I think we need to share this message. Does anyone agree? Who agrees? How do you, if you agree, say Haribol. Haribol. Since his only engagement is to induce others to surrender to Krishna or God, how can he have enemies? So we see a very unique kind of vision is being given here. His only engagement is to induce others to surrender to Krishna or God. How can he have enemies? So, such a unique vision is described here. What is that vision? Compassion. Spiritual compassion. Not conflict or war or superiority. He has a different objective. He wants to induce others to surrender to God. He wants to surrender to God, and he wants others also. Automatically, that creates a bond. That creates some relationship, some affection, some respect, at least minimally respect for others. Now, get this. Are you ready? This might be shocking, so brace yourself. If one advocates the Hindu religion, the Muslim religion, the Christian religion, this religion, that religion, there will be conflicts. Uh-oh. Now we're striking a little closer to home. Wait, what? Wait, I thought we were teaching the Hindu religion. I thought the International Society for Hindu Consciousness. So, Prabhupada is being quite bold here. He's saying, if one advocates the Hindu religion, this religion, that religion, there will be conflicts. So this is the distinction between religion and spirituality, pure spirituality. And we can often get caught in the rituals. We can get caught in the externals. Even in the Hindu religion, we see so many times there can be a sense of superiority and inferiority that has polluted social systems, that has polluted religious and spiritual duties. So even in this tradition from India, we find conflict. That means it's not yet on a transcendental platform. And that's the distinction between Christian consciousness and what we say, the Hindu religion, the Muslim religion, the Christian religion. History shows that the followers of religious systems without a clear conception of God have fought with one another. Why is that conflict there? There's no clear conception of God. If we don't know who God is or what God is, we are covered. We cannot actually respect others. There are many instances of this in human history, but systems of religion that do not concentrate upon service to the Supreme are temporary and cannot last for long because they're full of envy. There are many activities directed against such religious systems, and therefore I must give up the idea of my belief and your belief. Everyone should believe in God and surrender unto Him. That is Bhagavatam. So this is not just a religion. We're teaching science, actually. We're teaching a very clear process and procedure for realizing God. Let's read one more paragraph. Can you maybe read one more paragraph here if I give you
the Bhagavad Dharma is not a concocted sectarian belief, for it entails research to find how everything is connected with Krishna. Isha Vasya Swasyam Idam Sarvam. According to the Vedic injunctions, Sarvam Khalam Idam Brahma. Brahman, the Supreme, is present in everything. Bhagavad Dharma captures this presence of the Supreme. Bhagavad Dharma does not consider everything in the world to be false.
So, Bhagavad Dharma is not a concocted sectarian belief. This is, what do we need in the world? We need a common platform, right? What is the common platform? Where can we all agree? Can we all agree on something? As long as we're in the bodily concepts, no. Only on the spiritual platform. The Bhagavad Dharma we can all agree, actually. That is the common platform for all beings. For it entails research how everything is connected to Krishna. The Supreme is present in everything. Bhagavad Dharma captures the presence of the Supreme. So, this is not another religion. This is a transcendental science of understanding God. That's how we present Krishna consciousness. That's universal. That's not one culture, different culture, one religion, a different religion. This is the wisdom that we need to share. We'll look at one more verse, 7:5-13. This is in the section of Prahlad Maharaj. 7:5-13 translation. Persons who always think in terms of enemy and friend are unable to ascertain the super soul within themselves. Have you ever made a distinction towards anyone? Have you ever had a prejudice towards anyone? Yeah, sometimes it happens. Have you ever judged someone? Sometimes we think someone is our close friend, and sometimes we think someone is not our friend. If we cultivate this kind of consciousness, it's that we're unable to actually perceive God within us. So religious systems that teach this, that means they're not actually able to really fully connect with God. Not to speak of them, even such exalted persons as Lord Brahma, who are fully conversant with Vedic literature, are sometimes bewildered in following the principles of devotional service. So I'll just stop there for now. So looking back in our modern world today, the world is celebrating this Easter Sunday, and many people are appreciating the Lord's compassion, God's compassion, and the compassion of His devotees. In our tradition also, we have incredible, rich tradition of great saints who exhibit this Vaishnava compassion, this Bhagavad Dharma compassion, this equal vision, equal friendship to all. And one of the great saints in our tradition is named Haridas Thakur. Have you heard of Haridas Thakur? If you've heard Haridas Thakur, say Haribol. Haribol. Yeah, Haridas Thakur is a very important personality in our tradition. Mahaprabhu was glorifying Haridas Thakur. He was very dear to all the Vaishnavas. Extremely powerful Vaishnava. Extremely glorious personality. And taught so many lessons through his life. Haridas Thakur at one point was, unfortunately, he got into trouble with the religious leaders at that time. There was Muslim leaders, and they were biased, and they were against Haridas Thakur. It's a very sad story that even in Mahaprabhu's time, such calamities were going on, such religious quarrels, interreligious prejudice was happening. In fact, I'll see if I can just give you, for example, what the mood towards Haridas Thakur was. A local Muslim authority known as the Qazi, he became envious of Haridas Thakur's popularity. So Haridas was very prominent. It's mentioned that He was actually always effulgent. He would be dancing in ecstasy, absorbed, tasting the nectar of devotional service, chanting Krishna's names. He would often just be dancing. People would gather around to see the tears of love of Godhead flowing from his eyes. It says even the strictest atheists marveled at his behavior. So he was influencing the atheists just by his behavior. And the demigods themselves are amazed to see his devotion. So unfortunately, this Kazi became envious of his popularity. He reported to the Nawab. He said, this man, this was the local Muslim governance, they said, he's acting like a Hindu. Arrest him and punish him appropriately. So at that time, there was this distinction. This is our religion, this is someone else's religion, they should be punished. The same thing is going on in different, it's going on in many different ways. Many different traditions have this concept. So, unfortunately, Haridas was then summoned. He went to the prison. He was preaching to the prisoners, prison preaching program. Haridas Thakur started that one. And very interesting that he was being attacked and questioned. That the Qazi saying, I decided to punish you according to the mandates of our scriptures so you can be free from your sins. Haridas Thakur patiently listened to these threats and accusations. It says he was recognizing his words as the illusory potency of the Lord. So sometimes just because someone speaks something doesn't mean it's true. It can be the direct illusory potency of the Lord. And let's see how Haridas reacts. Without any apprehension, Haridas simply smiled and spoke in a sweet, soothing voice. My dear sir, there is only one God for all living entities. The difference between the Muslim God and the Hindu God is in name only. According to knowledgeable Hindus and Muslims, and according to every scriptures, be it Quran or Quran, God is one. He is the non-dual, eternal, transcendental, and absolute truth, infallible and perfectly complete. And in that capacity, he resides in everyone's heart. So just see, worshiping the same God, but so differing conceptions to the point of war, to the point of killing. The omnipotent, he continues, the omnipotent Lord is the supreme controller of everything. The living entity is moved by the desire of the supreme Lord, and he acts and works only according to the Lord's design. He says, irrespective of the manner in which he is worshipped, the Lord accepts everyone's individual mood of surrender. However, if one living entity feels hatred or envy towards another, he ultimately reflects those emotions in his relationship with the Lord. So this is a very important point that I want to focus on, that if, despite being very religious or spiritual, if a living entity feels hatred or envy towards another, he reflects those emotions in his relationship with the Lord. So sometimes even as devotees, even as a person belonging to religion, if they have some small amount of envy, or dislike for someone, judgment of someone, that's ultimately meaning it's existing in their relationship with God. Why? Because all living beings are the part and parcel. Mamai Mangsho Jiva Loke. The Jiva is an expansion of Krishna. It's not different in the Jiva category. So all souls are parts of God. When you see another being, that's a particle of God. So imagine doing harm, being envious. That means we're envious of God. That means we're harming God in the sense of this part. This was very striking to me because I was recently in New York City and we have a wonderful food distribution program at Thompson Square Park where Srila Prabhupada started a movement. And the devotees there, led by Adi Prabhu, they go out 3 times a week and they serve nice home-cooked prasadam to the needy, the homeless people. Now, if you go to New York City, it is a crazy city. It is really intense, right? Anyone been to New York City? You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who you're going to see. You don't know what to watch out for. There's a lot of scary characters there. There's very seeming dangerous situations. Now, these devotees are going there irrespective of any of that. They're going there just to give spiritual nourishment to anyone and everyone who wants to come. They've gone beyond that bodily concept. They've gone beyond envy or judgment or mistrust, and that means in their relationship with Krishna, they're living in that way. So when we have this experience serving all of these different characters externally, different body types, different mentalities, different natures, we're seeing them all equally. Actually, we're going beyond the bodily platform. Normally, we may not deal with someone. We may not go intimate with someone, shake hands with someone, offer a gift to someone we don't know, who looks completely different. They may have bad habits. We would probably stay away, and we would probably think in our mind something not so good about that person. But these activities show us by doing this service, it's completely spiritualizing the whole situation. It's spiritualizing our vision, and it's creating a model how actually on the spiritual platform, what it does actually is converting the material world into the spiritual world. In our day, do we ever feel anxiety? Do we ever feel stress? Do we ever feel like uneasy? We may not feel like we're in the spiritual world, but by change of consciousness, the Dham can manifest. The Dham. The Lord resides in the Dham, and the Dham can manifest if we're in the right state of mind. It's not that we have to go somewhere, you have to go to a holy place in India. We have to go to the right place of consciousness. And then that Vaikuntha can manifest here. That's the real solution. It's not changing this or that. I need to do more of this or less of that. It's our consciousness that we need to change. So we have this amazing experience just by trying to develop this samadarshi, even-mindedness to all. How much Krishna reciprocated, how much our vision changed, how much we felt like we were out of the material world and in the Dham. So this is just going back to this point that if we have slight envy or hatred towards anyone, ultimately this is a reflection of that towards the Lord. And so again, therefore, such need to share wisdom about God that is beyond that. Give a clear conception of the absolute truth. So this was Haridas Thakur's reaction, and we see he also exemplified this extreme compassion when he was summoned. What happened after this? They decided, okay, we're going to punish you by beating you, mercilessly beating someone 22 times. This is inconceivable punishment. They said most people after a few marketplaces, they would die. And here's a saintly person, very fragile, being beaten in 22 marketplaces. And what happened after? How would you feel to someone who did that to you? How would we respond? What would we can ask that question. It's very important actually, because in our devotional communities, we will also have someone do something. They may not be beating us, hopefully, but maybe they said something about us. Maybe we feel that they mistreated us. How do we react? And that reaction exists in our relationship with the Supreme Lord. We will only react to the extent of our closeness with the Lord. To the degree we have closeness with the Lord, to that degree we can tolerate. It comes out in our daily life. It doesn't have to be a very high philosophical thing. It's a very practical thing. And it's very important in devotional communities. Cooperation. On paper it sounds very simple. But we know how difficult it can be. I'm sure Prabhu knows. It's not an easy thing. So, tolerance. Haridas Thakur, he endured this merciless beating. And the whole time he was praying to the Lord, please forgive them. Please forgive them. Today we can recall in the Western world, the Western saint, Jesus, who was also being crucified, he said, please forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. So when we are in these difficult moments in life, are we in a similar mindset? Are we saying, are we wishing them well? Or wishing for revenge? We're planning how we can get back. So we have some work to do also. We ourselves, although we're preaching Bhagavad Dharma, we're distributing books, inviting people, we have to also try to bring that deeper and deeper into our life, into our heart, and be the embodiments of that. And Prabhupada said, I want moons. Not many stars, one moon. So one individual who's fully embodied the spiritual truth, their presence and power in this world is extremely strong compared to many who are still going through anarthas, judgments, unable to tolerate others. Haridas Thakur prayed for their deliverance, actually, of his offenders. And he was so compassionate that when he found out the guards, oh, you were trying to kill me, because then the guards said, oh my God, if we don't kill him, because he's going to kill us. And then Haridas came back to consciousness. He said, oh, am I causing you pain? Am I causing you some discomfort? Okay, no problem, I'll die. And then he left, he went into a mystic trance, and his body just appeared dead. So that is the equal vision. This is so remarkable. This is so much needed. How much we need to teach, spread this knowledge. People are killing themselves in the name of God, in the name of religion. And here we have an example of the ideal spiritual consciousness. Oh, you'll be in difficulty? Okay, no problem. I'll inconvenience myself. So my point is that we have the solution actually for the world problem. Yeah, we have it. Therefore we have a big responsibility. It's like if you have some great treasure, you don't just, and everyone is starving, you don't keep it locked up, hide it. No. So this is some encouragement for all of us to value the gift we have and also see how important it is, how we can share it in our own niches. And I'm sure many of you also have good positions in society. You have facility to spread this knowledge. On all levels of society, we need to spread this. As we said, the world needs it now more than ever. So, ultimately, Mahaprabhu's mission is to spread pure love of God, to inundate this whole world with pure love of God, which includes these qualities, this kind of vision. I wanted to bring up another beautiful few passages that Srila Prabhupada spoke on, actually, if we go to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. The introduction. The introduction of Chaitanya Charitamrita is a series of lectures that Srila Prabhupada gave on Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he says some remarkable things here. So we're going to scroll about to halfway. There's a paragraph that begins, there are different stages of devotional service and God realization. That's the paragraph we're looking for. There are different stages of devotional service. I can't give you a page number because there's no page there, but there are different stages. And basically, we will see in Prabhupada's words what is unique about this gift. Good. I think I'm going to read it on the screen here. There are different stages of devotional service and God realization. Strictly speaking, anyone who accepts the existence of God is situated in devotional service. To acknowledge that God is great is something, but not much. Lord Chaitanya, preaching as an acharya, a great teacher, taught that we can enter into a relationship with God and actually become God's friend, parent, or lover. So, aside from resolving world conflict, going further on the positive side, we also have incredible theological conceptions that have not yet reached the hearts of many people in the world. The type of intimate relationship that the soul can have with God. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Srila Prabhupada was saying, this is the highest conceptions. Sorry. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna showed Arjuna his universal form because Arjuna was his very dear friend. Upon seeing Krishna as the Lord of the universes, however, Arjuna asked Krishna to forgive the familiarity of his friendship. Lord Chaitanya goes beyond this point. Through Lord Chaitanya, there will be no limit to this friendship. We can become friends of Krishna not in awe or adoration, but in complete freedom. We can even relate to God as his father or mother. This is the philosophy not only of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but of Srimad Bhagavatam as well. There are no other scriptures in the world in which God is treated as the son of a devotee. Usually God is seen as the Almighty Father, who supplies the demands of his sons. So, the point here is that Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission is doing many things. It is presenting the platform of spiritual equality, and at the same time elevating every soul to our original Krishna conscious position, where you have an eternal, specific, loving relationship with God. And that relationship is so fulfilling that there is nothing needed external to that. This is what we call the Atmarama position, being self-satisfied. That your relationship with God is so fulfilling that you need nothing more. This also incidentally solves the world's shortage problems. The surplus or the deficit, too much, not enough, because we're not living in this consciousness of self-satisfied. If one is self-satisfied, they will not take more than they need. And they will not be given less than they need also. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, these transcendental scriptures, they provide the relief, not only for ourselves, our own spiritual journey, but for solving all the problems of the world actually. Just winding down, one of our great teachers, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's one of our great acharyas present on the altar here. And he had some very important statements in this regard. He says, gradually, and this was back in the 1800s, gradually when the offensive portions of the established religions are destroyed, there will be no more differences in the bhajan performed by the various sampradayas, nor any quarrel between them. So there's certain offensive portions of the established religions. When those are relieved, there will no longer be any quarrel. Then as brothers, the people of all castes and countries will spontaneously chant the holy names of the Supreme Lord together. This is a prediction. He's explaining Mahaprabhu's movement coming to fruition, where people from all different countries, backgrounds, religions, they will spontaneously chant the holy name of together. Personally, this is what I would like to see happen. I'm hoping in my lifetime. The different religions in the Sankirtan movement coming together. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, so we need to help facilitate that. We need to have that equal vision, that open-mindedness, that respect to manifest it. He says the living entities will not forget the principle of natural brotherhood. Rather than fighting, we can embrace the actual principle of eternal brotherhood. And just to conclude, there have been some other predictions, very fascinating, given regarding the Sankirtan movement, and specifically what I'm sure, perhaps some of you have heard, perhaps some of you have not, but a prediction by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that is collaborated by another great saint. First, let me conclude one more prediction of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says that Srimad Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, did not descend with his associates to deliver a certain number of human beings in the land of India. But his purpose rather was to deliver and uplift all living beings in all countries of the world by practicing the eternal religion of all souls. Again, this is Bhagavatam. This is universal. This is meant for all living beings. He says the principle of Kirtan as the future church of the world. The future church of the world is Kirtan. Invites all classes of men and women without distinction, caste, creed, or clan to the highest cultivation of the Spirit. This church will extend all over the world and take the place of all sectarian churches, which exclude outsiders from the precincts of their mosque, church, or temple. This is the time that we are here in this world, in the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. And that is of utmost significance and benefit to all of us. And finally, this is collaborated by an amazing saint known as Namalwar, who was one of the great 12 Vaishnava saints of the Sri Sampradaya. And about 5,000 years ago, the beginning of Kali Yuga, this was predicted of Mahaprabhu's movement. We know there's references in Srimad Bhagavatam and in some places in the scriptures, but here we have specific predictions by the Alwar, specifically the Nam Alwar. And he says, all glories to the devotees of the Lord. All the inauspiciousness and curses of living entities are destroyed. No one is going to hell. Yamaraj has no work anymore. He got fired, he got laid off. It's government jobs, you have to be careful. So Yamaraj has been laid off. No one is going to hell. The ill effects of Kali Yuga have ceased to exist. I behold something wonderful. All over the world, an increasing number of devotees of Kadalvan, bluish, blackish Lord Krishna, sing his names while dancing and playing musical instruments. It says, I behold the visions that are sweet to the eyes. O devotees, please come and join in these ecstatic devotees. Please come and join these enthusiastic devotees. Standing in joy with arms raised, they are worshipping Lord Madhava, who wears a tulsi garland. Roaming all over the earth, they chant and sing in sweet mellow the glories and names of Lord Krishna and dance with raised arms in jubilation. You guys can repeat after me. Haribo! 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 Yes, so you're fulfilling the prophecy. You're part of it. Last line. The ill effects of Kali Yuga have ceased, and a new golden age of Sankirtan Yoga has begun. The demigods have also joined the movement, and the whole world is flooded with love of Godhead. The devotees have entered and occupied every corner of the earth and are singing the name, fame, and glories of the Lord with great joy and enchantment. So, this is just yet another inspiration. As we know, the Yuga Dharma, that platform of universal brotherhood, is chanting the holy names together, going in the streets, going in your homes. Don't forget to chant in your home also. We don't do it just in the temple. We have to do it in the home, wherever we are. Harinam Sankirtan is the process established by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for achieving and manifesting the Lord's will and desire in this world. Hare Krishna,
Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very soon we'll have an opportunity right here in the temple to chant together. Please do join us for that. I'll pause here for now. Thank you so much, Prabhu. We do have some time. Should we see if there's anyone would like to contribute by asking a question or sharing a comment, your thoughts or reflections on any of these topics? We have just a few moments. Certainly some food for thought. I hope we can digest it a little, meditate on it. Don't just let it go in one ear and out the other. We've been given also some assignments, some homework here. So yeah, you didn't know that when you came today, but you've all been given some big homework. And they're very smart people, so it won't be very hard. Any questions or comments from anyone today? Yes, ma'am. We'll give you a mic.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your wonderful class. I feel like I learned a lot from it. So I was thinking of the Christian tradition being at Easter, and specifically in Catholicism, you do hear about the mystics who see Jesus Christ as the bridegroom or see God as the bridegroom. So there is some conjugal relationship that is attainable, although in most churches, God as Father is much more emphasized. So I just wanted to point out that you do see other relationships with God, even in Christianity, and I'm not sure about other traditions, but for sure, it's there. It's just kind of hidden.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hello. Thank you very much for sharing. I think everyone can hear me. We're going to go up this wireless. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for sharing. This is a beautiful point, and personally I'm also quite familiar with some of the subject. Many people are unaware of the depth of practice in other religions, and it's good to educate ourselves because we will be meeting with people, we will be interacting in interreligious dialogue, so we should know what other people believe. And at the same time, I do like to defend Srila Prabhupada's statements because I have looked into it, and from what I understand, this concept of the bridegroom, it often refers to a relationship with Jesus, where Jesus is seen in this kind of position. There are certain saints who describe incredibly personal encounters with God in the Christian tradition. Saint John of the Cross, he talks about parting the Lord's locks of hair, the Lord resting on his chest like this. So we have some incredible things to be aware of in other traditions, certainly worthy of utmost respect. At the same time, Lord Chaitanya has a very unique contribution. And even within these different relationships, the type of conjugal relationships also vary and are on different degrees. And specifically, Lord Chaitanya, relishing the moods of Radharani and distributing Radha Bhav, this we are yet to see in other traditions. We have not yet seen. And there may be occasional references to certain ideas, but a very widespread distribution and process to accept and actually achieve that, certainly Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission is unique. Thank you for sharing that with us. Hare Bol. Few more minutes. Anyone else like to contribute here? No? Then we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much. Shri Prabhupada.
I wanted to say that, of course, the appreciation for your class. The point that you were bringing out about universal brotherhood, sisterhood, that's available for us, that's available for the world. It may have seemed very pleasant to hear that. We should not take it lightly. We should not take it as something just cerebral. What you offer is very, very practical and insightful, and we should take it very seriously. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves missing out on this unique opportunity that is before us. Life will go past us, and we'll say, we missed this opportunity. And I just wanted to emphasize that to everyone here in this room, that we should really take advantage of the points that you were bringing out, Prabhu, because it is available. We just have to be open to this. Okay, we will now have some kirtan. Precarious Prabhu will lead us in tonight's kirtan as well. So during the kirtan, we usually sit down, but that doesn't mean you can't get up and dance. So